We are just over 24 hours away from one of the most exciting weekends on the rugby league calendar, the representative round. We see the return of International Rugby League, the Women's State of Origin. In that return to International Rugby League, we return to New Zealand for the first time in a bloody long time, I think is the right way to put it, and all caps off with the highlight. The main event, State of Origin Game 2, at least if you're Australian, because I know the Tongan fans, I know the New Zealand fans, even Samoa, PNG, Fiji and the Cook Islands, even the Lebanon guys played last night are all passionate, and this is probably the most looking forward to a game of rugby league until we get to the World Cup. But guys, before we get into my tips, my predictions, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. The best things in life are free, and subscribing is free. Shout out to free of you, so subscribe because it's free and it would make my day. Smash that like button if you enjoy and want to see more types of videos like this, and let me know in that comment section down below all your tips, all your predictions for this weekend's representative round. Who's winning Origin? Who's winning the test matches? Who's winning the Women's State of Origin? This is going to be one hell of a rugby league weekend. While the rep round may end with State of Origin Game 2, it kicks off with another State of Origin match as the ladies get out there to absolutely dominate one another. For those who do not know, New South Wales dominated from 2016 till 2019, and Queensland then scooped up during the COVID pandemic years and have won the past two series. This sets to be a cracking game. New South Wales headlined by the two Dally M players, Emma Tony Gatto, I apologise if I said that wrong, and of course Millie Boyle, who has become a household name in not just rugby league but across the country. Isabel Kelly, Jess Surge as the superstar centres. Maddie Sutton has been dropped, so that is a big shocker. One of the first Origins she will not be featuring. Queensland have kept pretty much the same side. Ali Brigginshaw, she's the main gun. She's the weapon. She's arguably the greatest women's rugby league player of all time, but I don't think she's going to be enough to save Queensland. I think New South Wales had the Dragons and the Roosters in the NRLW Grand Final, having all those players in red-hot form. And honestly, their best player is Millie Boyle too, the Broncos, who choked in that final series. So I'm going to go New South Wales. I'm going biased because why wouldn't I? New South Wales are going to win this 1-12. I just think their forward pack's too much. I'm a big Millie Boyle fan. I also love Southwell. She's an absolute beast in the lock position. Her tackling technique is one of the best in the competition at the moment. Of all time, really, too, Hannah Southwell. So I think New South Wales get the job done here. I think the Chicks can get the win. I think they'll win 1-12 and take back that State of Origin shield. I'm not too sure. I should have done my research, but I'm never that prepared. If they're having a second game, I think there was rumours that there was going to be. So that might be played as the curtain raiser for Game 3, but this should be a cracking game. We've got New South Wales winning Game 1-12, and then we get into the Pacific Island Test matches. The first one this Saturday, I think, while it's kicking off the Saturday as the first international test, I personally believe it's the highlight. New Zealand versus Tonga. Now, both of these teams could definitely compete with both the Origin teams and with Australia. A lot of people are hot for Tonga ever since they beat Australia in the most recent international footy game over a year and a half ago now. No, over 2.5 years ago now. Absolutely crazy to think that after that Australia-Tonga game, we're going to have to wait 2.5 years to see them play again. Unfortunately for Tonga, it is against New Zealand, and that New Zealand spine, that forward pack, I simply can't go past it. Yes, the Tonga side is an unbelievable one. Can't wait to see how stubby Kula Kanikola goes at fullback. Hamole Olakauatu, can't wait to see him make his test debut. It's going to be one hell of a game, but I've got New Zealand winning in a close one. I think their spine is just too good. If you have Kieran Foran on the bench and then Katoni Staggs is the best spine player for Tonga, it could cause a bit of problems. Like I said, I think a lot of this game could rely on how the Amone, the young halfback, goes for Tonga. So that'll be very interesting. If he can fire, then I've got a lot of confidence that they can get the job done, but not really, to be honest. That New Zealand team is on another level. Like, the Tongan forward pack is amazing. Their backline is amazing. Their spine is good, but New Zealand have a side that maybe Rapana... but in saying that, he's a freak when he puts on a Kiwi jersey. I think the New Zealand 1-17 is as good as anything Australia could pick right now. Joey Manu at fullback. It's just a brilliant, brilliant football side. I got New Zealand winning 1-12 on the back of that spine, like I just said, and that forward pack. You could make a case that could be better than the Australian forward pack. That's how good it is. And speaking of too good, as I've said, New Zealand will win 1-12. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a tough old night for the Cook Islands. That Samoa team, when you got the Penrith, Tago, and May, and then when you got Schuster in the back row, because you've got a set halves pairing of Harris Tavita and Anthony Milford, I just think Samoa are going to be way too good for a Cook Islands team who don't have a lot of first graders when they're coming up against guys like Frankie Molo, Josh Alloway, Jaden Sewer, Marty Tapau, who hasn't been in great forms but done it before. That backline, Staines, May, Tago, Paulo, Nofaluma. I think this will be a breakout game for Anthony Milford, who will not really come back to the heights we saw even in the Broncos, but I feel like this will be the closest thing we've seen since then. He'll take a lot of pride in captaining his country. It's going to be one hell of a game for Samoa, I believe. I don't think the Cook Islands can match him. As unfortunate it is, because you like to think when players represent their country, it's not going to be a blowout, but I just don't see it, unfortunately, for Cook Island fans. I've got Samoa winning, and I've got Samoa winning big. The final game on the Saturday, Papua New Guinea versus Fiji. It's actually pretty close. I was just about to say that it's sort of the same thing. Fiji have a lot more first graders, and they do, but Papua New Guinea still got David Mead, still got Alex Johnson at the back, still got Justin Olam, but I just think Fiji have the more NRL experience, and who on that side is going to stop Viliami Kikau? I'll go Fiji 1-12 to play it safe. If PNG can absolutely come out in the first 20 minutes and ambush them. And that'll be exciting about these Pacific Test matches, is the first 20 minutes are going to be an absolute bloodbath. It'll be not as fast as Origin, but it'll be just as brutal. So I've got Fiji winning this one. Unfortunately for PNG fans, I've got Fiji winning just 1-12. PNG will heavily rely on Lockie Lamb. Fiji will heavily rely on their outside backs and Viliami Kikau to create opportunities for them. But I just think Fiji, when I see a team with more NRL players, and honestly, a lot more NRL players, I think that side wins. And who is going to stop Viliami Kikau with the form he's in? So I don't think PNG will get blown out, but I think Fiji win 1-12. Like I've said 50 million times. The final game, State of Origin Game 2. I predicted the Blues would win Game 1. That didn't come to fruition, but I think they're going to Perth like they did a few years ago with mass changes. We'll get the Blues to send it to a decider. Am I wishful thinking? Maybe. But I just love the fact that everyone is writing Freddie off when in 2019 he did this exact thing and it came off. Jake Trbojevic, yes, I'm the manly dick rider, but having him in that side just to absolutely snap these Queenslanders in half for the first 25 to 30 minutes will be so good for New South Wales. And then you can bring Junior Bolo on, plus no Ruben Cotter. It'll be interesting to see how Queensland go. If New South Wales can just match them in the ruck and shut down Munster, which can he be shut down? They should have the class to get away with a win here. So I'll go the Blues 1-12 in a very, very close one. If it comes down to a field goal, you're probably backing Queensland because they got DCA, even though he cost Manly the game from a scrum, but he won the game for Queensland from a scrum. So me and him are on iffy terms at the moment, but I'm going with my heart. I think the Blues will win, and God, I am praying that they win, because even if they lose the decider in Suncorp, at least we get a bloody decider. Guys, there are my tips for the rep round. Blues to win the Women's Origin. I've got New Zealand to beat Tonga, Samoa to beat the Cook Islands, Fiji to beat PNG, and New South Wales to win State of Origin Game 2, sending it to a decider. Guys, we are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, so if you love anything about this world, please consider subscribing. It is completely free. Just let me hit 3k and then you can unsub if you hate my voice, which I wouldn't blame you for. Smash that like button if you want to see more types of these videos and you love your rugby league content. Comment your rep round tips and predictions down below. Guys, I am that excited for this rep round, that New Zealand-Tonga game. I have got the biggest, you know what, absolutely thinking about it. And then to have State of Origin Game 2 the next day, I don't know if I'll last the weekend. But guys, thank you so much for watching. That was disgusting, and I'll see you guys in the next one.